If you watch or share one video I make, watch or share this one. So this is going to be an unscripted, impromptu video, and it's going to be pretty personal. So I just made a video earlier today about my unexpected hypoglycemia yesterday and my experience with the carnivore diet and getting back on track after having to eat carbs to correct my low blood sugar yesterday. Today, things went really well. I fasted, I worked out in a fasted state, got my blood sugar back to a really good spot, like the right around 110. It was flat line again, not going up, not going down. Took both my boys to basketball practice, and while we were there, I actually did a YouTube short just showing on my Apple Watch how flat the line was. I was feeling good. Came back. We were all going to have dinner. I took, thank God, what was a very small dose of insulin for a normal carnivore meal, which would have been ground beef and some eggs. And it was probably in between about 2 or 3 units of insulin. So I took the insulin and I immediately got a metallic taste in my mouth. And based on my experience in the past, and I'm sure other diabetics have experienced this, when you get that taste in your mouth, that means you hit a blood vessel. And it means whatever dose of insulin that you just gave yourself is going to hit you basically all at once. No delay, no timed release like it's supposed to happen. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. And so, because I wanted to try to keep my blood sugar in range and I didn't want to eat carbs, I gave it just a couple minutes just to see maybe that was something false. Maybe I smelled something different. Maybe it wasn't that metallic taste and smell that you get when you hit a blood vessel. So rather than just watching my Dexcom G7, which was stable, I tested my blood sugar with my meter and it was a little bit lower. It was like 111. And I think my meter was like 118, 115, somewhere around there. So I was worried and I waited a couple minutes and it was probably between 3 and 5 minutes that my blood sugar went from 111 to 76. That is extremely dangerous, especially when you take such a small amount of insulin for your blood sugar to drop that quickly. And that was the confirmation that I had hit a blood vessel and that I was going to be basically in a fight to not have a seizure and pass out. So luckily, my wife was there, my kids were there, and they were a little bit freaked out, but um, they're a little bit used to just knowing what to do. So from that second on, I was eating as much sugar as I could get into my body without throwing up. So I had somewhere in the area of a soda and a half, and probably the equivalent of like at least two Snickers bars in probably a minute to a minute and a half. I mean, I downed it as literally as fast as I could do it. Once I got that down, it was basically a waiting game. It was either my body's going to absorb the sugar before my blood sugar gets to the point where I pass out, which is normally for me below 40, or it's not going to be fast enough and they're going to have to call 911 and I'm going to have a seizure. I don't think I was at risk of dying because I got enough food in me to actually, hopefully, um, save my life, but you never know with this kind of thing. So, tested my blood sugar with the meter probably 10 times in the next half an hour. And luckily, I came through it. And really, the only reason I came through it is because I had had this experience before and I knew to watch out for it. So, the reason I'm making this video, and again, this is a really personal thing. This is not, I make all kinds of different videos. I make carnivore diet videos, videos about diabetes, review videos. I do bike ride, all kinds of different things. And that's all good. But like I said in the beginning, if you're going to watch a video, if you're going to replay a video and really listen, if you're going to share a video with friends or family who might need to hear something like this, you don't even know it. So just share it. The reason I'm sharing it is because things like this can challenge like just everything that you believe. Because this is the key point. You can do everything right. You can do every single thing right that you believe is right, that you've been taught is right, and you can still fail. And maybe fail is the wrong word. You can do everything right and you can still get an outcome that is totally different than the one you were expecting or that you were taught you were going to have. This applies to every area of life. Every area. Personal, professional, romantic, health, spiritual, anything you can think of. I'm going to say it again. You can do everything right, quote unquote right. Everything that you've been taught is right. Everything that you think you know is right. There's no mistake you made. There's nothing that you did that was bad. And you can still have an outcome that is totally not what you expect. So, what is the point of saying that? The point is whether you're starting a YouTube channel, whether you're going on carnivore, whether you're going through marriage troubles, whether you're having problems at your job with your finances, whether you have been abused, whether you are just finding out you have cancer or some disease like type 1 diabetes, you have to have something bigger, something more that drives you, that defines you, and that makes your life and your experiences worthwhile. You have to find that thing. I'm not here to tell you what that thing is, and I'm not here to tell you how to find it, but you must find it because at some point in your life, you will go through an experience that challenges everything that you've been taught by parents, teachers in school, employers, religions. And if that thing that gives your life meaning and purpose and truth doesn't come from within, you're going to be lost. So this relates to what happened to me today, yesterday and today. I couldn't believe it happened to me 2 days in a row because I felt so good today. Things went back to normal so quickly, and I felt so good about where I was, how great my blood sugar was after having to do that yesterday, and then just destruction again through no fault of my own. It's nothing that I could have predicted. It's nothing that I could have done differently. It's absolutely just random, luck of the draw, whatever you might want to say. And as it was, as difficult as it was for me to expose my kids to that, to have my wife see that, for me to go through it, there's something deeper that drives me. I'm not going to tell you what that is because I don't want to color your experience. I don't want to put any kind of meaning that I have into your experience. That's for each person to find for themselves. But I've been through so much with this disease and other things too that I'm not going to mention that are probably worse than the disease, but I've been through so much with this disease. I literally would not be alive if I didn't have something so much deeper that connected me to something so much bigger than just the frustration and the randomness, seemingly randomness of pain and suffering and results that just don't make sense. So, as I said, if you watch one video through, if you share any of my videos, let it be this one. And let it be the message that no matter what you're going through, and no matter how hard it is, how disheartening it is, whether it's a near death experience, whether it's anything, find that thing that isn't affected by what doesn't make sense and what can seemingly destroy your motivation and your sense of identity and your sense of justice and what's right in the world. Find that thing that transcends those things because that is the message. That was the message for me when I had my head down and when I was just hoping that this sugar would get into my blood before I passed out and had a seizure and woke up to an ambulance crew leaning over me, is that there is something larger. There is something more. I'm not just blood sugar. I'm not just this experience. I'm not what I feel like in that moment. I'm much more than that. So just wanted to put that message out there. Again, for me, very traumatic experience just because just everything that's happened in the past couple days and going through that, just the intensity, the sheer intensity of it. And honestly, it shook me up and it woke me up. And it made me connect back with not the mundane, what's my schedule look like tomorrow? What am I going to do? What do I have to do? What tasks do I have to do? But back to what does this mean? What is the purpose of all this? What is truly important to me? And again, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe that's a discussion for the future. But for this particular video, find that for yourself. I can't stress it enough. Find that for yourself, no matter what it takes. I don't think there's anything more important to that than that. You can give that to your kids, your spouse, your loved ones. It's the greatest gift you can give. So that's my message after my experience tonight, and I hope it reaches someone out there, hopefully many people out there who need to hear it. Thanks for taking the time to listen.